And just to quickly skim through some of your WWE stuff, did they recruit you out of UFC or did you reach out to them?
No, it was both, because I had to walk away from there because they couldn't pay me what I needed to support my family, so I had to do something else. And so I was looking around, but at the same time, WWF was looking for a new kind of scheme, because Hogan left, Nash, I mean, all the top stars left. So they were looking and scrambling for something different. And it was a match that was made perfect timing, because they needed to go extreme. They needed to go cutting edge. They needed to kind of do differently than what was already being done. And so when I came in, they said, hey, here's a no-holds-barred fighter. This guy's a real deal. We need to turn our guys and our organization into, we don't follow the rules. We are rebels. And take that and then mold that organization into the Stone Cold Steve Austin, slamming beer, me with the no-holds-barred attitude, Bret Hart with the 1,000 moves and submissions, put him into a match, have Ken Shamrock stamp that match by refereeing it, and have those two guys put on the best match, WrestleMania 13, that was ever done in a wrestling ring, and turn the direction of the WWF into the direction that everybody else is now following, and blow away the WCW with all the superstars they had because of the Attitude Era.
What was Steve Austin like to deal with? You worked with him a lot in WWF.
Bret Hart and Stone Cold were class acts. Easy to work with, definitely open-minded, wanted to hear your ideas, and understood the psychology of wrestling, understood that the direction was changing. And for them to go from pro wrestling and the things they do to me being in the ring with them and turning a full 360 and going, yeah, you know, where we squeeze each other and we touch each other and we don't want to hit each other, to saying we're just going to beat the shit out of one another. And they did. And they turned the wrestling and the WWF from pro wrestling to the Attitude Era.
Shawn Michaels has a bit of a bad reputation from those days. How was he with you, working with him in the ring and backstage?
Well, he was fine with me. You know, I know that Bret and Shawn definitely had their differences, and I believe that Bret has a pretty good stance. I was there firsthand. I saw it front row. I thought it was really a bad thing, especially when you're talking about professional athletes trusting one another. That was opening the door for other people to just do what they want. It didn't happen, but it definitely was opened the door for people to just say, well, I'm not going to do this tonight. I'm just going to kick them in the face and let things be where they're at. So it was definitely not professional. But I worked with Shawn, and I know Shawn, and he was never bad to me. I mean, as far as me and him, I thought he was great. And I had a great match with him. We worked well together. And a terrific, talented person. But I watched those two guys go at it, and I seen everything that happened, and I thought Bret was done wrong.
You also worked with Vader a little bit. What was he like? He's known for being roughing up certain people at the ring from time to time.
I thought me and Vader were a perfect match, because I hadn't learned the skills yet. I still was pretty heavy. And so for me and Vader to work together, I thought it was perfect, because he could tater me and I could tater him, and it was just okay. It was okay, because he had worked in that style also. So I thought putting us together and letting us do a match until I could get comfortable in there, I thought it was perfect. I got to go in there and be me, and he was a guy that could take it.
Would Vader have done well in MMA if he had started earlier on?
No, and it's not because he didn't have the skills, because he does. I just think, though, when you're talking about MMA, you're talking about conditioning. You're talking about being in great shape. And Vader, that kind of shape is just, it's much different.
And what led to you going back into UFC after your WWE run? You just had enough of wrestling?
No, I think that the falling out with Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and Vince, because I had trained with Bret. Bret took me under his wing, showed me the ropes. I was kind of in his group, you know, rightfully so, because he showed me the ropes. He helped me out, you know, and I didn't take a side by saying, "Oh, I'm with him." I was just known as being one of his guys. Not that I proclaimed it or anything, but I think that everybody, Shawn and Vince and all them, saw me as being one of those guys because I stood behind Bret. Now, I don't know how those guys do things, but don't you think somebody that works with you, gets you where you need to be, shows you the ropes, don't you think that loyalty is something to be commended and not spit on? I'm not sure why they would look at me like that. I mean, I didn't take a stance against them. I took a stance for Bret, not for Bret against them, but for what Bret was going through. You know, and I wouldn't stand against Vince because he was my boss. I wouldn't do that. But I would definitely stand with Bret as he's going through this stuff, but I'm not going to stand against them either. And I think that's kind of where it got confusing, was I was with Bret. I mean, I was there when the thing happened in Lock. And I was on his side, not against them, but because he was going through that. And so I think things started going rough. I was getting beat a lot. You know, not that there's anything wrong with that, but you just smell you smell what they're cooking. And some things that I was asked to do, I just couldn't do it. And the culmination of being gone for 2.5 years, you know, my kids were going to dances, and my daughter had her dance, and I couldn't go. It was just I was missing so much. And so with all that stuff happening, and knowing that I was going in the other direction because of what happened, that my character was going to be stomped and beat on, and because I'd lost probably every match for, at that time, 6 weeks straight. I mean, all of a sudden it went from this, and when that happened, I was this. It was like, and I didn't do anything other than just be in you know, part of the boys. So I saw the writing on the wall. And so I took some steps to ensure that my exit was going to be, you know, comparable on both sides.